So welcome to another Bundesliga Season 3 match. On seat 1 we have Aabhaas, seat 2 we have Tore. I'm pronouncing it correctly, hopefully.
Tore is good.
Tore, yeah. So Tore, seat 3 we have Valentin, and seat 4 we have Omkar. So people are aware of the rules. So let's begin. Aabhaas, will start with you. Questions will appear on your screen. Here we go. The concept for what pivotal scientific system came about in 1869 after a famous Russian chemist encountered the concept in his dream. In the mid-19th century, these new entities were being discovered almost every year, which brought forth the need to organize the said entities effectively.
Is it periodic table and Mendeleev? So
periodic table will fetch you the points. That's correct. Next question. So which people's creation stories centered on the Sun Spirit Tower? The title Sun Spirit Tower. The title of the art film Koanist Katsi references a concept central to these people's thoughts, while the Sapir-Whorf hypothesis on linguistic relativity was premised on their concept of time.
The Maoris?
Not correct. Tore?
Inuit or Eskimo?
Not Eskimos. Valentin?
I said Inuit.
No, that's not correct either.
Okay.
Aztecs.
Aztecs, not correct. Omkar?
I will say
3, 2.
these are the Incans.
That's not correct either. All right, so this is the Hopi. Hopi.
Mayans?
Hopi. Hopi.
Oh.
HOPI.
Really?
Okay. Wow.
Okay.
Good one.
Tore, your set of 2 questions. In December 2021, which Mumbai-born Indian American replaced founder Tim Stokely as a CEO of the internet content subscription service OnlyFans? She has previously worked for Red Bull and was briefly vice president of Cannabis Cafe.
Chopra.
Nope. Aabhaas?
I pass.
Valentin?
Pass.
Omkar?
I also pass.
Okay. This is Amrapali Gun. G-A-N Gun.
I saw this.
So Omkar, just in case, so surnames are acceptable. If you
Okay.
don't know.
Yeah, that though old
Yeah,
cuisine.
that is so, yeah, that you probably are aware. Surnames are acceptable. Tori, your next question. So what euphemism for death is also an HBO TV show featuring Michael C. Hall of Dexter fame that tracks the lives of the Fisher family who run a funeral home in Los Angeles? Omkar, both hands, please. Visible.
Sorry.
6 feet under.
Yes, that is correct. 6 feet under. Valentin, your time, 2 questions. Steles or steles are the largest and most significant sources of information on ancient civilization. The Gaul trilingual inscription is a stone tablet or stele with an inscription in 3 languages, Chinese, Persian, and Tamil. Which mariner and court eunuch installed this stone tablet dated 15th Feb 1409 on one of his 7 voyages of exploration to the lands around the Indian Ocean?
Zheng He.
Yes, Zhang He is correct.
Chinese. Zheng He.
General, that's correct. Next question. So which Funchal-born sports person is famous for his sea celebration? This celebration involved jumping in the air, then performing a mid-air pirouette before exclaiming sea. He also performed this celebration when he was awarded his sport's most prestigious individual award in 2014.
He is Cristiano Ronaldo.
CR7 is correct. 2-1-2 for you. Omkar, we come to you now.
So these two are my directs, right?
Yes, these are your directs. Which singer rapper of Zulu Jewish descent with a feline name has been nominated for 8 Grammy?
Can I answer? Can I answer?
Sure.
Doja Cat.
Doja Cat is correct. Well done. Next question. So what made Finding Nemo and its sequel Finding Dory so transcendent for certain impressionable young viewers was the fact that it was set mostly below the sea surface, exploring a vibrant underwater world. Dory, who suffers from short-term memory loss, is which popular fish in the marine aquaria? It is the only member of the genus Paracanthurus. These fish are so named since the adults have a narrow line of dark blue along their dorsal fin that curves back at the tail.
Shit. Oh, the genus, some names in the adults have a narrow line of dark blue along the dorsal fin that goes back up. Blue-tailed fish. Blue-tailed fish.
Blue-tailed fish, not correct. Aabhaas,
Pass.
Tore,
Pass.
Valentin.
Pass.
Okay, so this is the royal blue tang, or the navy blue tang, or surgeon fish. Many names are acceptable. Okay, round 2. Aabhaas, we come to you. In which culinary technique is an ingredient topped with a browned crust, often using breadcrumbs or grated cheese? A dish from the Dauphin region consisting of sliced potato in milk bears the name of this technique.
Pass.
Tore?
Gratin.
Yes, au gratin is correct. Gratin. Well done. Abbas, your second question. The Elements of Style is an American English writing style guide first composed in 1918. With specific punctuation whose function is highly debated is also called the serial dash. 2 of its possible names comes from the names of academic publishing houses where this rule is followed.
Yeah, so this is comma, Oxford comma.
Yeah, Oxford comma is correct.
Oxford comma. Yeah.
That's correct. Tore, your set of 2. Bruce is a main character in Finding Nemo, who with his slogan of fish are friends, not food, really just wants to be a nice guy. Bruce is a clever homage to an earlier blockbuster and refers to that film's director's lawyer, Bruce Raymer. So what kind of fish is Bruce?
Shark.
Shar, I'll prompt you for a better answer.
Great white shark.
Yes, great white shark is correct. Just 1 minute, I have a phone call again. I have to pause the recording. Okay, Tore, your second question. This basketball player famously stepped over Tyronn Lue of the LA Lakers after scoring a 2-pointer on his way to scoring 48 points in Game 1 of the 2001 NBA Finals. Sadly, that would be the only game that his team would win in that series. What is the answer?
I can't remember. Anthony.
No. Aabhaas?
Pass.
Valentin?
Shaquille O'Neal.
Shaquille O'Neal? No, not quite. Omkar?
Pass.
So this is Allen Iverson, who is nicknamed The Answer.
Listen.
Valentin, your set of 2 questions.
Okay.
Who was the queen consort of Ravana, the king of Lanka in Ramayana? With the name translating to soft-bellied, she is extolled as one of the Panchakanya, the recital of whose names is believed to dispel sin.
Lakshmana.
No, it's not the queen consort. Aabhaas?
Mandodari.
Mandodari is correct. Points. Valentin, your second question. So Lil Nas X's Grammy-nominated album Montero takes its title from his actual first name. Which 2017 film is the subtitle of this album's title song, which according to the openly LGBT singer was one of the very first openly queer movies he had seen that felt artsy? 10 seconds.
Bohemian Rhapsody.
No, not Bohemian Rhapsody. Omkar?
Pass.
Pass. Aabhaas?
Call Me By Your Name.
Yes, Call Me By Your Name is correct.
Oh shit.
Okay, Omkar, your set of two.
Sure.
In a 1950s animated segment called Peabody's Improbable History, the dog Peabody uses a time machine to meet historical figures. In one segment of Peabody's Improbable History, time travels to 1755 to visit which adventurer imprisoned in Venice for common indecency. Upon realizing the Italian is unwilling to leave the prison, likely due to the presence of female guards, he suggests putting male guards instead.
Want to say I'll say Leonardo da Vinci.
Not Da Vinci. Aabhaas?
I'll pass.
Pass. Tore?
I'll pass it.
Okay, Valentin?
Casanova.
Yes, Casanova is correct. Well done.
Giuseppe
Oh.
Balsamo.
This is indeed Casanova. Omkar, second question. In which European capital city would you find the Belem Tower, a 16th century fortification that served as a point of embarkation and disembarkation for explorers? It is also home to the Museo Nacional de Azuleo and the Estadio da Luz football stadium.
I want to say Lisbon.
Yes, that's correct. It's indeed Lisbon.
Can I make a phone call before you start the next one?
Sure, I'll just pause the record.
It's a work call. That's
Okay, so that's the end of 2 rounds. So Aabhaas, we come back to you again. The Xi'an stele in Berlin Museum features text in both Chinese and Syriac. It documents the arrival in China of Christianity, which the stele calls the luminous religion from Dakin. What entity that lasted from 27 BC to 1453 AD, as per most sources, does the word Dakin refer to?
The Tang Dynasty.
Not quite. Omkar?
Pass.
Passing. Tore?
The Byzantine Empire.
That is, I'm just checking. Does that not go? Yeah, I'll have to prompt you.
Constantinople.
Not quite. Valentin?
Hmm.
3,
Uh,
2,
Great Silk Way.
no. Okay, so there's a prompt on Byzantine Empire, but this is actually the Roman Empire. That's the answer.
What?
Roman Empire. The Roman Empire.
It should be the East Roman Empire. But okay.
Anyway, there's a prompt here. That's why I prompted you. Aabhaas, your second question. In 2008, Lewis Hamilton won his F1 championship after going into the final round, knowing a 5th place would be enough to win a championship. He eventually claimed this position in the closing corners of the race to win by a point. Which Ferrari driver thus narrowly lost out in these circumstances, even though he won his deciding race in his home country, Brazil?
Felipe Massa.
Felipe Massa is correct. Tore, your set of 2 questions. Who is the great creator deity in the pre-Inca and Inca mythologies? He was represented as wearing the sun for a crown with thunderbolts in his hands and tears descending from his eyes as rain. A museum at Big Joy in Oslo is dedicated to a means of conveyance named after one of his many games.
Then it should be Kon-Tiki.
That's correct. It's a local question for you.
Yeah.
All right, Tore, your next question. At the start of the most episodes of this TV series, the sign for the titular in either had letters falling off or had been rearranged maliciously. As a result of the latter, this resulted in signs reading warty towel, flowery tracks, and so on. Which sitcom about a fictitious hotel are we talking about?
Faulty towers.
Faulty towers is correct. Starting John, please. Okay. Valentin, we come to you. To evaluate the nature of pain being experienced, medical services focus on aspects such as onset, radiation, site, associations, time course, severity, character, and exacerbating factors. The mnemonic or acronym scrambled here forms the name of which figure who lived before Christ, who ironically seems to have died quite painlessly. Ten seconds.
Pass.
Okay. Omkar.
Pass.
Pass. Aabhaas.
Socrates.
Yes, Socrates is correct. So the acronym would fetch you Socrates. Valentin, your next question. In 1619, a polymath, then serving as a soldier in the Dutch States Army, had dreams that led him to reject everything he had been taught was true. Which polymath saw these dreams? Detailed in his work, Rules for the Direction of the Mind, that would pave way for the scientific method.
Uh,
10 seconds.
Baruch Spinoza.
Spinoza, no, not quite. Omkar? 3.
I'll pass it.
Okay. Aabhaas.
Pass.
Tore?
I'll guess Bacon.
I'm sorry.
Oh, it's wrong. Bacon.
Okay, no, not quite. This is René Descartes.
Rembrandt.
René
Okay.
Descartes.
Oh, the map.
René Descartes.
Damn, nice.
Okay, Omkar, we come to you. 2 questions. In December 2021, which British Indian woman became the youngest ever CEO of Chanel at the age of 52? She is the mentee of Indra Nooyi, former CEO of PepsiCo.
Pass.
Aabhaas?
Pass.
Tore?
Pass.
Valentin?
Pass.
Okay. So she is Lina Nair. Lina Nair, N-A-I-R. Omkar, your second question. One of the examples that the Elements of Style gives for the rule put statements in positive form is this statement. The women in dash are unattractive. Catherine is disagreeable. Bianca insignificant. Which of Shakespeare's plays, often read as misogynistic in some circles, is this sentence about? Shakespearean play. Which,
Isn't the Taming of the Shrew?
well done. It's indeed Taming of the Shrew. Okay, round 4. Aabhaas, your 2 questions. Which 1977 song was meant to mimic the imagery of the 1965 novel The Magus by John Fowles about a man in an unfamiliar rural setting? Some lyrics such as "Her mind is Tiffany twisted, she got the Mercedes Benz" are based on singer Don Henley's breakup with his girlfriend.
Hotel California.
This question
was it?
went unanswered in when I played.
Really?
Yes. Okay. Aabhaas, Annie Jump Cannon was one of the early Harvard computers hired in 1896 by director Edward Pickering. While working on the Draper catalog, she came up with a classification system for what? For which she also came up with the mnemonic, "Oh, be a fine girl, kiss me." A classification system for what? Ten seconds.
Okay, I'll say this is
5, 4.
this is the different kinds of clouds.
Clouds. Okay. Omkar.
Pass.
Pass. Tore.
Pass.
Valentin.
Asteroids.
Asteroids, not quite. So both guesses on the correct ballpark. So these are actually classification of stars.
Okay.
Stars, yeah. So she worked at the Harvard Observatory. That's right.
Yeah,
Okay.
okay.
Tore, 2 questions. In a segment of Peabody's improbable history, he travels to 1616 to visit which Italian man sitting in his study despondently after Duchess Christina cut off his funding. Peabody intervenes and convinces the Duchess to continue backing his research, much to the disgruntlement of the Catholic Church members.
Galileo Galilei.
Yeah, Galileo is correct. Next question. In which European capital would you find the Independence Square or the Maidan Nizales Nashti? This city is also home to the Olimpiski National Sports Complex, which hosted some football games at the 1980 Olympics.
Kiev.
Well done. Kiev is correct. Valentin, 2 questions for you. In which culinary technique is food cooked in grease, oil, or sugar syrup at a lower temperature compared to deep fry? Historically, this term referred to low temperature cooking employed as a preservation technique, thereby deriving its name from the French for preserved. Ten seconds. 5.
Nuclear.
No. Correct. Omkar. 3.
Is it basting?
Not quite. Aabhaas.
Pass.
Tore.
Confit.
Yes, confit. Confit is correct. So duck confit, goose confit. Done. Valentin, next question. So what euphemism for death is also the title of an Agatha Christie story that features the novelist detective Ariadne Oliver as a minor character? The term refers to a mythical animal that death rides, mentioned in the book of Revelations.
Pass.
Passing. Omkar.
Pass.
Aabhaas.
Pass.
Tore.
Pass.
Okay. So this is the novel called The Pale Horse.
Pale.
Okay, Omkar, 2 questions for you. Which daughter of Janak and younger sister of Sita was Lakshman's wife in Ramayana? When Lakshman went to exile along with Ram and Sita, she was ready to accompany him, but he asked her to stay back in Ayodhya to take care of his aging parents.
Padmavati.
Not quite. Aabhaas.
Urmila.
Urmila is correct. Omkar, your second question. The F1 season of 1976 was characterized by controversy and off-track politics. Brighton James Hunt won the championship in the decider in Japan's torrential rain, but which Austrian legend retired after 2 laps, saying, "My life is worth more than a title"? An event depicted in the Ron Howard film Rush.
Niki Lauda.
Niki Lauda is correct. Halfway through, Aabhaas and Tore tied on 8 points, Omkar on 4, and Valentin on 3 points. Aabhaas. So Jack Dorsey in November 2021 announced he was stepping down as Twitter CEO, which Ajmer-born Indian American replaced him.
Parag Agarwal.
That is correct. Parag Agarwal is correct.
Yes.
So what euphemism for death is also an American comedy TV series? The series follows Ned, a pastry chef with the power to bring dead people back to life with his touch, an ability that comes with stipulations.
Pass.
Omkar?
Pass.
Pass. Tore?
Pushing up daisies.
Yes, pushing daisies, pushing up daisies. I'll accept that. Well done. Pushing daisies. Today, now your time. 2 questions. At the 64th Grammy Awards, John Batiste is the most nominated individual with 11. In 2020, he collaborated with Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross on an Academy Award-winning score. Which animated Disney Pixar film set in locations like The Great Beyond and The Great Before was this for?
Soul.
Soul is correct. In 1845, inventor Elias Howe dreamed that cannibals were preparing to cook him as they danced about waving spears. Interestingly, the spears had a hole at the sharp tip. This was a eureka moment that led him to patenting what product, which spurred a series of patent wars.
Sewing machine.
Well done. This is indeed the sewing machine. Valentin, 2 questions for you. In a segment of Peabody's improbable history, travels in time to 1697 to meet a pirate off the coast of Madagascar. He is attacked by the pirate who steals the treasure that is incidentally a slot machine rather than the Quedagh machine, leaving Peabody deserted on the island. 4 years after Peabody's visit, he was tried and executed in London. First, can you mute, please? Thank you.
Moritz Benevitsky.
Not quite. Omkar?
Pass.
Pass. Aabhaas?
Blackbird.
Common guess, but not the right answer. Tode?
Oh, pass.
Pass. Okay. So this is William Kidd, Kidd.
Oh.
Kidd. Valentin, next. Sheldon is one of Nemo's school buddies in Finding Nemo, who tragically struggles with water intolerance. Sheldon is what kind of fish? Males of which get pregnant and give birth. Uniquely, these fishes are defined by an upright posture and a curled prehensile tail. Passing. Omkar.
Seahorse.
Yes, these are seahorses. Omkar, now your turn. 2 questions.
Sure.
In Maori mythology, who was the first man? He found the first woman, Mari Koriko, in a pond. She seduced him and became the father of the hind cow Atata. By extension, the answer is a wooden or stone carving in humanoid form and has since given its name to a kind of bar, first set by Don the Beachcomber in 1933 in Hollywood.
Or
10 seconds.
pass.
Aabhaas.
Pass.
Valentin.
Maui.
Nope. Tore?
Tiki.
Yes, the tiki bar. This is the tiki
It
bar.
is just tiki. Oh
Yes.
shit. I was thinking corn tiki.
Nope. Okay. So, which football player gained notoriety for celebrating a goal by pretending to snort a line in the 1994 Merseyside derby against Everton? He received a 4-match ban and a fine afterwards and never performed this again. He most recently managed East Bengal in the ISL.
Robbie Fowler.
Robbie Fowler is correct. Okay, Aabhaas, we come back to you starting off round 6. Which pop music group was nominated for the Record of the Year at the 64th Grammy Awards for the song I Still Have Faith in You? The song is from their 9th album Voyage, their first since the 1981 album The Visitors. It was also their first ever Grammy nomination.
ABBA.
Yes, ABBA is correct. Well done. So in a segment of Peabody's improbable history, he time travels to 1513 to visit which Spaniard in the Florida Everglades, who has arrived in search of Fountain of Youth. Even though Peabody mediates a truce between the native Indians and the Spaniard, the story ended differently and rather violently for the Spaniard in real life. 10 seconds.
Bartholomew Diaz.
Not Bartholomew Diaz. Omkar.
Pass.
I'm sorry.
Pass.
Pass. Okay. Valentin.
Mm,
3.
Ponce de Leon.
Yes, Ponce de Leon is correct. Well done. This is Ponce de Leon. Today, your set of 2 questions. So, which queen of Ayodhya and devoted wife of King Dashrath is the mother of Ram in Ramayana?
Kali.
I'm sorry.
Kali.
No. Omkar.
What is it? Pass.
Okay. Aabhaas.
Kaushalya.
Kaushalya is correct. Next question. So mnemonics can be visual and not just word based. A common mnemonic taught in physics and engineering is to show the direction of induced current in a generator using the thumb, index finger, and the middle finger of the right hand. It was created by and named after which English engineer who also invented the first vacuum tube?
Crooks.
I'm sorry?
Crooks. Crooks.
No. Omkar? 3, 2.
Shit, forgot pass.
Okay. Aabhaas.
Fleming.
Yes, Fleming will fetch you the points. Fleming's left-hand rule.
Fleming's
Right. Thing, dude.
Yeah.
This one, yeah. Sorry.
Valentin set of 2 questions. So, which Indian American succeeded Steve Ballmer as the CEO of Microsoft?
Pass.
Quick pass there. Omkar.
Satya Nadella.
That is correct. Satya Nadella. So before 2021, there was only one instance in F1 history of 2 drivers tied on points going into the last race. Ultimately, losing this battle in 1974 was the Swiss driver Clay Regazzoni, while his rival went on to win his 2nd championship. Who was this Brazilian driver who was once booed at the Indy 500 by celebrating by drinking orange juice instead of the traditional milk?
Fittipaldi.
That's a nice answer. Fittipaldi is correct. Omkar's your set of 2 questions. What euphemism for death is also a crime novel from 1939 that was made into a famous 1946 film as well as a 1978 film, all bearing the same name. In 1999, the book was voted 96th among Le Monde's 100 books of the century.
That is also kind of from 1939. Kill a mockingbird.
To kill a mockingbird, not quite. Aabhaas.
Pass.
Pass. Tore.
Pass.
Valentin.
Pass.
Okay. So this is the detective novel, The Big Sleep, featuring Raymond Chandler.
Oh, that was it. Euphemism for death.
Omkar, next question. So Niels Bohr was grappling with the thought of what the design of Dash looks like. The answer came to him in his dreams, where he saw the various parts of Dash akin to the planets and solar system revolving in orbits around the central object. What dream-inspired discovery is this, which fetched him a Nobel Prize in 1920?
Basically, how the atom looks like.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's atomic structure. Okay, penultimate round. So Nemo from Finding Nemo is which fish from the family Pomocentridae? In the wild, they form symbiotic mutualism with sea anemone, just as Nemo and family live in an anemone in the Great Barrier Reef in Finding Nemo. They get their name from their bright orange coloring and white stripes, but also from the bouncy way they swim.
Clownfish.
Yes, clownfish is correct. So which sports person with the Twitter handle at the notorious MMA is famous for his Billy strut? While doing this walk, he throws his arms in front of him as he glides across the ring. Forbes ranked him as the world's highest paid athlete in 2021.
Okay. Conor McGregor.
Yeah, that's indeed correct. Conor McGregor. 2-on-2 for you. Today your set of 2. So Rodney's stone is a 2-meter high Pictish cross slab now located in Moray, Scotland. Like most Pictish inscriptions, it is written in which alphabet? According to some linguists, this alphabet was first created as a cryptic alphabet designed by the Irish so as not to be understood by those with a knowledge of the Latin alphabet.
The Ogham alphabet.
Excellent answer. Ogham alphabet is correct. Ogham, Ogham. Next question. The last section of the elements of style gives a list of 56 often misspelled words. There is only one capitalized word in that list. A given name originating from the Greek for lover of horses. It is also the name of one of the 12 apostles. So what word or name is this? Ten seconds. 5, 4, 3.
Yes.
Nope. Omkar?
Philip.
Yes, Philip is correct. Well done. This is indeed Philip. Valentin, we come to you. Pangu or Pangu is a primordial being and creation figure in Chinese mythology, usually depicted as a primitive, hairy giant with horns on his head. When Pangu began creating the world, he separated dash from dash with a swing of his giant axe, creating the earth and sky. So give me both the blanks. He separated dash from dash. Ten seconds.
Maybe in from Yang.
Well done. This is indeed yin from yang.
Nice.
Nice answer. Okay. In which European capital would you find popular tourist attractions like the Temple of Venus and the Cannabis Museum? This city's Olympic Stadium, designed by John Wills, has a museum inside it too that primarily displays artifacts from the 1928 event.
Amsterdam.
Yeah. 2-on-2 for you. Omkar. So not to be confused with the NSFW name of a certain quiz team, what is the name of the band founded by Jeff Mangum? It achieved cult status on the basis of the album In the Aeroplane Over the Sea, which has been called one of the greatest indie rock albums of all time.
Hootie and the Blowfish.
Not quite. Aabhaas.
Pass.
Tore.
Pass.
Valentin.
Swede.
Nope. This is the Neutral Milk Hotel.
I think I've heard of it, but never.
Yeah.
What is the NSFW?
Neutral Milk Hotel. There is a quiz team based on that. All right, Omkar. What culinary technique popular in post-war Japanese restaurant in the West is a portmanteau of the Japanese word meaning iron plate and grilled pan-fried? People were initially enamored by the skilled maneuvers of the chefs preparing it on flat metal plate.
Teppanyaki.
Well done. Okay, we come to the last round now. Aabhaas and Tore are fighting out for the first 2 spots, but close behind is Omkar on 10 points and Valentin on 7 points. So Aabhaas, here's your. So in the Ramayana, which woman tried to entice Rama by turning into a beautiful woman only to be rejected? Rama told he was faithful to Sita. Rejected, she approached Lakshman, who thwarted her advances too. Infuriated by their dismissals, she returned to a demonic form and attacked Sita, but Lakshman intervened and cut her nose. And you get a musketeer in this squad. And all 4 answered. You only. Okay. In which European capital would you find the Palace of the Parliament, the world's largest administrative building and the heaviest building in the world? The city is also the home to the Memorial of Rebirth that commemorates the victims of a 1989 revolution and the multi-purpose Steaua Stadium. Which capital?
Bucharest.
Excellent answer. Bucharest is correct.
Just knew from the football team.
Today, your set of two, last set of two. In which culinary technique would a chef also employ the process of shocking? That is plunging the food in an ice water bath immediately after searing it in high heat. The technique is employed primarily in cooking greens, deriving its name from the fact that the food becomes pale with shock.
Blanching.
Yes, blanching is correct. So going into the last Formula One race at the Abu Dhabi in 2010, Lewis Hamilton, Mark Webber and Fernando Alonso were among those in contention to win the championship. Which driver won the race? And thus the F1 title, in the process becoming the youngest champion and sparking a run of 4 straight drivers' title for his team.
Verstappen.
Not Verstappen. Omkar?
Sebastian Vettel.
Vettel is correct.
2010. Yeah, right.
Sebastian Vettel. Okay, Valentin. The lyrics to this song were based on a Miami Herald report about a man who jumped to his death from his room's window, leaving a suicide note with a single line, "I walk a lonely street." Which song that also named a location in Memphis, Tennessee in 1999 is this?
I just want to clarify the song. Did it come out in 99 or?
Just read it carefully, please. Ten seconds.
Pass.
Omkar. 3.
Boulevard of Broken Dreams.
Not quite. That's my guess as well. Aabhaas. 3.
Pass. Pass.
Tore.
No, pass.
Is it
This is
Jailbreak
the-
Rock?
What?
Is it Jailbreak Rock?
The singer is correct. This is Heartbreak Hotel.
Heartbreak.
Oh,
Heartbreak Hotel. Valentin, which author associated with children's books about mice and spiders greatly enlarged and revised the elements of style in 1959? This individual had studied writing under the original compiler William Strunk Jr. Ten seconds.
Kankisi.
Nope. Omkar.
pass.
Aabhaas.
This is White. E.R. White. Basically, White is the surname.
Yes, White. That's all. Just White is correct.
Charlotte's Web.
This is
Yeah,
the Stuart
Charlotte's
Little
Web.
one. Yeah,
Charlotte's Web
Stuart
and
Little.
Stuart Little. Yeah.
Stuart
Sorry,
Little.
little. Shit.
Okay, Omkar, 2 questions for you.
Hmm.
The last 2 questions. A line in a song by the band They Might Be Giants goes, "Roy G. Biff is a colorful man." This is a reference to the mnemonic for what natural phenomena originating from a classification scheme created by Isaac Newton. In some parts of the world, including India, the mnemonic is taught in reverse.
Colors of the Rainbow.
Yes, well done. So the the last question of the quiz, the Ram Khamhain inscription is a stone stele by bearing inscription which have traditionally been regarded as the earliest example of what script? Discovered in 1833 by King Mongkut, it was eventually deciphered and dated to 1292. Historical digging revealed as recently as 1988 that the stele was a forgery by Mongkut himself. What script is this?
The Mandarin script.
It's not the Mandarin script, Tore.
Thai.
Yes, Thai script is correct. And that is the end of the quiz. So Aabhaas wins, takes a win point with 17 points. Tore also gets a win point with 15, Omkar on 12, and Valentin on 7. Good game, guys.
Okay, thank you for the game.
Great